Leisa, what's your take on it?
Look, I think she has work to do. She's been in Parliament now for more than 20 years, and I did a strawman poll around the office today and some people down in the foyer. They didn't know who she was, and the other big point was they didn't know how to pronounce her last name. So
yes,
you're looking at someone who, look, I think it's great that they've put a woman in that position. I don't like the fact that every headline is screaming it's the first female, because I do think it comes down to merit. But look, she's there. I think what we need to judge her on is not her gender, but what she can actually do about, as Christy said, unifying the party and having some really tough conversations about what policy are they going to come forward with, because today there were no real answers on that.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I said as well in my editorial. There were no clear answers, and I agree, you know, Leisa, I don't care what the gender of a person is in that high-level position. I don't care. As long as they can do the job and as long as they got there through merit, I couldn't care less whether they're male or female. I totally agree. Now, look, let's talk about gender quotas, because, Christy, you had an interesting article in the AFR yesterday. You said, to win them, I suggest we embrace women who can win us those seats and understand that we need to help them gain the experience and the networks in the party to be visible, recognised and chosen. If that means giving them a mandated female position to win an election, so be it. Christy, are you advocating for gender quotas? Do you think that is the way forward for the Liberal Party, and why?
Well, one, I think it's time something happened. I have sat in pre-selections for over 25 years. The only women who get pre-selected are ones that have the time to lean in, to undertake all the impossible tasks that gets you to the front of the queue, where you can tick off the list of, and it's going to State Council and Admin Committee all day on a Saturday. It's going to 3 meetings a week. It's going to various other things. There is a reality that women raising children and holding down a career aren't able to do those things. So the women that get pre-selected, and I'm not saying women don't, are women that are able to undertake those tasks that allow them to be visible and then considered worthy enough for people who make the selection because they have completed that checklist. There is just a reality that the women that we want to represent us, women of working age who are raising families like the Labor Party, are not able to get through in that selection structure.
Right.
It's not about merit. It's about addressing that selection structure
merit,
and recognising that it isn't the right one. Merit is a wonderful blanket argument to have.
I think it's offensive.
You have to understand
I think it's so offensive.
Understand the nuance of the selection structure, that the fact is women in our party aren't working and raising families like they are in the Labor Party. That's
I take
a fact,
your point,
and we have to look at the structure and understand why.
I take your point on that, Christy, but as a woman, I find it highly offensive that a woman should get a role not based on her merit, not based on how good she is, not based on how hard she's worked, but the fact that she is a woman. I just find that so offensive in this day and age. And if that's the case, if that's they're going to go down,
choose people.
If that's how they're going to go, you may as well go down Labor.
Don't choose people.
Yeah. Well, Leisa, what's your thoughts? What do you think, Leisa? Sorry, I just want to move on because we don't have a lot of time, and I do take your point, Christy,
course,
and I get what you're saying. But Leisa, what are your thoughts on this?
Christy's absolutely right. When you sit in those branch meetings, it is about winning people over. And goodness knows how many $5 raffle tickets you have to buy while you attend those branches. Christy will tell you about that.
Yeah.
But look, there's 2 things here. One, it has to be on merit. You have to rise to the top based on your experience, based on your knowledge, based on the fact that you understand your community and that you can give something back to your community and actually change this country for the best. However, when it comes to pre-selection, when it comes to looking at what candidate are you going to put forward, ANU did a study. Predominantly, those women get the tough seats. We don't always get the winnable, easy seats. You're put into a position where it's going to be a tough fight. You're looking at having to either put your business on hold, stand down from your job. So financially, how do you then manage your life to put yourself forward for pre-selection and then go out there and campaign? So it is a really tough one. You have to balance, yes, we want the best candidates on merit, fully back that. However, they need to look at the party structure and think about how do we pre-select women who are good on merit and put them into seats that are winnable. If we truly want women in the Parliament and in greater numbers, it's not about quotas, it's about putting them into the seats that are winnable.
I agree, and it all does come down to selection. I do agree with that, and I think that there will be a real rethink come the next election. And there were a lot of really good female candidates out there. I don't think that they were given the opportunity to really shine throughout this campaign, and that is the sad part. But look, we'll see what happens. We have run out of time. Christy McSweety and Leisa Goddard, we love a good debate. I like having you both on. Thank you very much for joining me on the show.
I love having it too.
We do. We absolutely do. We do get along, really.
Thank you.